The UConn men's basketball team is reeling from alleged NCAA violations, joined now by a six-time Connecticut Sportscaster of the Year, Scott Gray. Played a little golf for the day. I thought about you. I was out in Wyndham playing, Donnie Marshall and Chuck Gradovich on the course out there. I thought about you. So anyways, we're
How'd
here.
you play?
Well, we'll talk about that later. It's a good day. So anyways, the bombshell finally dropped, right?
Yeah.
So 8 violations. It boils down to issues of phone calls and texting, excessive, right? Tickets that weren't shouldn't be given out.
It does get
oversight.
Yeah, it gets a little bit deeper than that. There are 8 major violations listed, and those 8 violations each one comes with 12 or 13 subheadings. There are some troublesome areas that are addressed in there. Obviously, it all concerns the recruitment of Nate Miles. A lot of illegal phone calls made, a lot of illegal contact. A guy who never played, by the way, right? That may be the one caveat in this whole thing, that this guy never played a minute. Right. He never got to play. And actually, Stan, the way it worked out, that probably was pretty good for UConn that he didn't, because if he did, the year that he would have played would have been the year they went to the Final Four, and they could have had that entire season erased. If these allegations came out and were upheld. Could be the silver lining here. Well, all said and done. The silver lining could be that he never got to play with the team. He never got to practice with the team. He was expelled from school before any of this came down. But among these allegations, there are a number of areas where they point to Jim Calhoun creating an atmosphere of noncompliance within the program. There are some areas where they get into the subject of lack of institutional oversight. There are some troubling areas here that UConn's going to have to deal with. I think we all knew something was going to come down. I think we all knew that it wasn't going to be great. Right. But I'll be honest with you, I had a feeling it was going to be bad. Right. But it actually, to me, looks worse than I thought it was going to be. A preemptive strike here by UConn. They basically jettisoned 2 coaches. Pat Sellers, Bo Archibald. That's a major deal. Now, you wipe out, 2/3 of your staff here. They're sending a very clear message to the NCAA that, okay, we're taking this seriously. We're falling on our sword. We've taken care of 2 coaches. Big deal. Did they throw these guys under the bus, though, is the question. That's really difficult to say. Why? Because apparently both of them made statements to the NCAA that weren't true. That were not true. Okay. That is very serious. Because involving this investigation, when they were questioned about this investigation, apparently they made statements that weren't true. If that's a fact, then I think their resignations were warranted and required. But I'm not sure that they were the only ones. I mean, it's obvious they weren't the only ones involved in the violations here. Will there be other resignations or firings? I don't think so. But you might see some financial penalties. I'm very sure that I think you're going to see, or I'm very sure you're going to see restrictions on recruiting, how many trips the assistant coaches can take off campus. I think that's almost a given. Scholarships, I think, is a given, maybe 2. And you're probably going to look at probation as well. Like I say, this turned out to be more serious than even I thought it was going to be. You have 2 problems. You have an internal problem now and an external problem. Internal now that the 2 coaches gone. Those players build a tie to the coaches. It becomes family. And when you take out 2 coaches like that, there has to be some morale problems internally. And externally, the whispering campaign is out there. Gee, why do you want to go to UConn? They're in the midst of the NCAA stuff. Calhoun won't be there long. Right. There are some problems here to rebuild the program. How do they rebuild? Well, I think that one of the steps that they're making that I really like, that I think is going to help them a lot, is apparently they want Kevin Ali to replace Patrick Sellers as the assistant coach. Bo Archibald was the director of basketball operations. Patrick Sellers was the assistant coach who resigned, and they would like to have Kevin Ali, and he would be terrific for a lot of reasons. He's just a wonderful guy. He's probably one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, right? But he's just a terrific role model. Here's a guy that nobody gave a chance in the NBA, and he lasted for 13 years in the NBA because everybody loved him. He was he had a great attitude. He had enough ability to survive in the league. and he was a great teacher. He actually was one of the he was one of the teachers for LeBron James. I mean, on Larry Brown's advice, the Cleveland Cavaliers looking for somebody to help a young guy like LeBron James make the transition to the NBA, Larry Brown said, "You're never going to do better than Kevin Ali."
When we had Jim Calhoun on the show last year, he talked off camera about Kevin Ali. He said in the locker room, the guy's a leader. That they had Ray Allen and Kevin Ali and those kind of guys. He said in the locker room, you know, Ray was the leader in that he was the leader on the court. He said in the locker room, all the players gravitated toward Kevin Ali, and that his leadership skills were unquestioned. So that would be an enormous home run for them to get Kevin Ali.
It would be a huge home run because, like you said, there's going to be a lot of negative recruiting. Why would you want to go to UConn? Jim Calhoun, nobody knows what his future is going to be. They've had problems. But you have a guy like Kevin Ali. Every player loves him, but the big thing is he steps right into the role out of the NBA, and that's huge to players because to a lot of players, that reminder of UConn's connection to the NBA and the number of players that they send there is going to be very big.
And again, he may have one more year left in the NBA, so he has some chances. How about this name out here for Director of Operations, Chris Smith, new high school coach over in his hometown there, and why not bring in a guy like Chris Smith, a legend here? Put him as the Director of Operations, pair him with the Kevin Ali. Dave Lato's out there.
Of course, everybody remembers Chris with the Dream Team.
Yeah.
With hugging Tate George after he made the shot against Clemson, and certainly Chris Smith does go very deep, runs deep, very deep with the program, and that wouldn't be a bad hire. I think that the assistant coach is going to be a more critical hire than the director of basketball operations. All depends on how comfortable Chris Smith is in his current situation. But he would be a good candidate. There will be a number of good candidates that will surface from UConn's
They won't have a dearth of people coming in.
But I think as far as the assistant coach's role, you'll never do better than Kevin Ali.
All right, so listen, we have about 15 seconds left. We tape Wednesday, Thursday, NBA Finals, Celtics and Lakers. It simply doesn't get any better than that if you're a basketball fan in the NBA. Prediction time. 15 seconds.
Okay.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to walk in the fence. I want a prediction.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. If I say to you, I think the key matchup in this series, what it's going to come down to, is Ron Artest and Paul Pierce. Who do you like?
I see you do it to me again. I just want to know. I want you to pick a team in 10 seconds. You're giving me this.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Who you like?
Because I don't think the Celtics can win a Game 7 in Los Angeles, I'm taking the Celtics in 6. Their old guys are rested. They've got a big 4. I think they actually do have more talent, and they've got a better bench. And I like Paul Pierce in the matchup with Ron Artest.
Celtics in 6, even though they're a little bit nicked out. They're old and they're a little nicked,
but they've had plenty of rest, and now these guys don't have to worry about going out and playing 72 games or 71 games or 81 games. All they have to worry about is at most 7 games. But I don't think they can win a Game 7 in L.A.
I'm getting a hard rap here. I kind of like the Celtics. So I think the old guys have one more bullet in that chamber. One more bullet.
Exactly with you.
All right, he's Scott Gray. When we come back, entertainment attorney James Walker shakes things up, and we discuss some sad news from the world of entertainment. Do not go away.